Hello everybody, welcome back to Planet X News, January 6th, 2018. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I've been reviewing some of our current weather maps and also some of the predictor models. And we're going to be using the GFS model. Now, what I'm about to show you, for a lot of people, it sounds pretty good, but there is subsequent danger involved in the weather patterns that are about to go straight across the United States. Yes, we're going to have some reprieve from this Arctic air and these Arctic temperatures coming down from way above and dipping down here into the United States. Now, over the course of the last couple of days, we've actually all lived and seen what has happened as that large storm made its way up the east coast of the United States. A lot of the states in the north central part of the country have been under very severe low temperatures. Basically everything much below zero. Some of the coldest temperatures on this planet have been recorded here in the United States. There was an article that came out yesterday claiming that the temperatures in Mount Washington, New Hampshire, were actually colder than the temperatures on Mars. Maybe that's the reason why all of the elite want to head out to the red planet. Who knows? They can have it. I'll stay here on Earth. But ladies and gentlemen, as I have been reviewing this weather information, and as I've told you, I am going to keep up on all of this data as it comes in because I think it's very important. Once again, we're going to be going through this climate chaos as it's been labeled. And now that more data has come in from the weather models, what I'm seeing looks pretty good. But for a lot of people throughout the United States that were basically dumped on by a lot of snow, a lot of ice, a lot of precipitation, what's about to happen is really not a good situation. And this type of situation kind of set itself up close to the same time last year. As you've heard me mention before, last year, December 26th, the day after Christmas, I live in the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area. The temperature was around 60 degrees the day after Christmas. And then we had some wild weather after that. So, you know, the weather patterns are almost identical to what they were last year. But it seems to be just slightly more severe. So what is about to happen is this whole entire Arctic vortex, all of this cold air that you see dipping down here, and our weather map, our timing, and our dates are right up to date as we're speaking now. So all of a sudden, once again, this whole entire dip of this Arctic air is almost going to disappear right in front of your eyes. And then you're going to see not a gradual warm-up, but a very fast warm-up. Temperatures that will be kind of off the chart for this time of year in the Northern Hemisphere. The big worry that I have and that I see is the potential for disastrous flash flooding. And the reason why I say disastrous flash flooding is because we are going to see in some areas of the United States, specifically east of the Mississippi River, all the way through the Northeast, we're going to see a 50-degree increase in temperature. And this is going to happen very rapidly. Now, based on the amount of direct sunlight or sun simulator light, whatever you want to call it, based on that direct sunlight, and the temperature increases, all of the snow, all of the ice, even in the higher elevations, is going to melt, and it's going to melt very, very rapidly. So, there's a very high possibility that locks and dams and reservoirs are not going to be able to handle this type of influx of water, ice melt, and snow melt that rapidly, because these temperatures are going to increase. And this is going to happen a couple of different times by late Tuesday, early Wednesday, January 10th, going into Thursday, and then we're going to have some dips in this polar vortex, and we'll possibly have a little bit of snow, a little bit of warm up, and this is going to create situations in rivers and streams and reservoirs for this water to simply pile up. And ladies and gentlemen, look, we all know what happens when this very, very fast snow melt occurs. Now, there are places on the east coast of the United States that got, 10, 12, 16 inches of snow literally piled up 10 feet high in some of these cities. Now you're going to add very warm temperatures very rapidly, and the snow is going to melt. And naturally, it has to have some place to go. So therefore, once again, rivers, streams, creeks, things of that nature, they're going to be probably at their maximum levels. Now, I don't know if there is preparation being conducted right now as we speak, meaning preparation by the people who operate the locks and the dams throughout our river systems here in the United States. I'm hoping that they are watching the weather outlook for the next 7 days, because if they're not, and they are not releasing more water now to lower water levels so they can take the influx of all of this melting snow. Ladies and gentlemen, if that does not occur, like for instance today, if they do not start working on this today, you're going to have a lot of flash flooding, a lot of localized flooding in your areas, and it's not going to be a pretty scene. So we're going to go from, one disastrous situation to another. And I'm going to show you the GFS model as it's playing out. Now, I have everything set here for the surface. These are our surface temperatures. And I'm going to go ahead and just zoom in here a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and just put a marker right here where I live. Okay, now, right now, it's a little after 6 a.m. January 6th. You can see the temperature in Pittsburgh is pegged right at 0. We do have a very, very severe wind chill factor. I believe it's probably -10 to -15 degrees as far as the wind chill factor. And you can see how far this polar vortex or Arctic vortex has sunk down into the United States. A lot of record-setting temperatures throughout our country. And there are other countries, for instance, over in Europe, several of them have dodged a bullet with some of these systems. But that's going to be short-lived for our friends across the pond over in Europe. And, I hope and pray that they're all watching and paying attention to what is happening with our weather. So I'm going to go ahead and play this model out for you, and I'm going to stop it at periods in time. But I want you to keep your eye on this temperature reading for the Pittsburgh area, because what I'm basing all of this on is all of the weather and all of the temperatures through this entire sector where you see me circling with my cursor, you're going to see temperature warm-ups that are absolutely off the chart, and in all actuality, it should not be occurring. And it's going to set up the potential danger for catastrophic flooding instantaneously. So there'll be some other factors involved, but what's about to occur is just absolutely crazy when you're talking about the weather. And once again, yes, we can label all of this as more climate chaos. But let's go ahead and start this and let's check it out. Keep your eye on this temperature. Keep your eye on the level of the Arctic vortex as it disappears. Now, we're only into Sunday. Temperature's going up a little bit. We're going into Monday. Now, right off the bat, you can see on Monday, January 8th at around 2 p.m., you could see these temperatures went all the way up to 33 degrees. That's above freezing. So, once again, based on the amount of direct sunlight that we're getting, now, the temperatures can go up and it could be very, very cloudy and overcast, and the snow melt will be at a minimum. But if we're looking at very clear skies and a lot of direct sunlight, the snow melt is going to melt much faster. But let's take a look at what is going to happen over the next 48 hours as far as temperatures go. And if you look at the green levels, folks, the green levels are much, much higher temperatures. And we can go ahead and pan around here. 36 degrees, 43 degrees, Central Illinois, 35 degrees, Indiana, 34 degrees, Central Ohio, 34 degrees. And you could naturally see that these temperatures right down here along the western coast of Mexico into Central America are much, much warmer. But that's not of a concern for us right now, because we are talking about the potential for disastrous flash flooding. So I'm going to go ahead and put my marker back in the Pittsburgh area where I live. Temperature approximately 33 degrees on Monday around 2 p.m. on January 8th. Let's go ahead and continue playing this model out. So we can see a little bit of snow trying to get in there. Temperatures hovering between freezing and a little below. Now, here we go into Tuesday, the 9th, at approximately 5 p.m. Now you can see, once again, more of this cold air hovering around, just encompassing the entire state of Pennsylvania, half of New Jersey, most of Ohio, most of Indiana, most of Illinois. And then you're going to see it all disappear, and you're going to see temperatures rise approximately 25 degrees. That is going to be disastrous. Naturally, the temperatures will feel great in the middle of January, but the flash flooding is going to be, it's going to be a big deal, folks. So let's check this out. So we're going into Wednesday afternoon, or excuse me, Wednesday morning. Now, we are at Wednesday, January 10th, 7 p.m. So most of the day has been well above freezing. You're looking at temperatures right now, 39 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to go ahead and jump back to about 1 p.m. So 1 p.m. in the afternoon on Wednesday, this upcoming Wednesday, you're looking at temperatures 37 degrees. And again, based on the amount of direct sunlight in these areas, that's going to play a big factor in the actual snow melt. But listen, folks, I've seen this before, 2015, 2016, and in 2017, in the beginning of the year, we saw this once again. And we saw river levels rise drastically. There was a lot of flooding in areas that were not able to take that much snow melt in that period of time. I see all the dynamics setting up for this right now. And the reason why I'm making, this video and this live stream right now is to give everyone a heads up. So if you live in low-lying areas, if you live near creeks and streams and rivers and areas that do have the potential for flash flooding, this is the time to heed the warning and pay very, very close attention to what is happening around you, your surroundings. That's what is important. And listen, folks, every single year, people lose their lives in these flash floods. It happens every single day around the globe. I see it. And it's something that shouldn't happen if the flow of information continues. So we see that we have 37-degree temperatures, and we'll just jump back here to the state of Illinois. 43 degrees, Indiana. 41 degrees, Ohio. 40 degrees. Now, all of these areas, folks, all of these areas along the East Coast that were pounded with these temperatures below zero and all of the snowfall. Okay, well, what do you think is going to happen when temperatures reach 35, 38, 40, and 40 plus degrees? And it doesn't take a long period of time for this snow melt to start to create big, big problems. So we're going to go ahead and let this play out, and let's see what these temperatures rise. I'm going to go ahead and put the marker back here in the Pittsburgh area. Let me get it up there. About 37 degrees at 2 p.m. on Wednesday, January 10th. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and jump back a little bit here. Now, you can see this polar vortex is diving down once again. But the Ohio River Valley, east of the Mississippi, all of this area, folks, all of this area, everywhere on the East Coast, this 1/3 of the United States that just went through all of these absolutely frigid temperatures, the snowfall. Now, on Thursday, January 11th, around 3 p.m., we're looking at temperatures in the Pittsburgh area of 54 degrees. So, within that 24 to 48 hour period, we see all of these temperatures rising way above freezing. And again, depending on the amount of direct sunlight, because the direct sunlight will intensify the snow melt. So we are going to see the possibilities, the very, very high possibilities of very serious flooding. And there may not be anything that could be done about it. If people that are operating and working at these locks and these dams throughout our river systems, if they are not paying attention to what is setting up right now, it's going to lead to catastrophic flooding in probably this whole 1/3 of the United States. So we see the temperatures of 54 degrees. Now we can see this massive cold front moving in once again. It's already starting to move into the state of Illinois, but let's take a look at the temperature. 34 degrees here. 34 degrees here. As we move across, you can see this temperature increase. So I'm going to go ahead and drop this flag right around the Pittsburgh area right there. And, ladies and gentlemen, we have many, many rivers here in the Pittsburgh area. Matter of fact, right in downtown Pittsburgh, in the middle of the city, you have two rivers, major rivers, that come together and they form the Ohio River right at the point in downtown Pittsburgh. You have the Monongahela River and you have the Allegheny River, and they come together and they form the Ohio, and the Ohio River flows down into the Mississippi River. So there's always that major potential for this type of flooding. Going down into West Virginia, look at the temperatures in West Virginia. And remember, West Virginia has pretty high mountain elevations, very, very deep valleys. They get a lot of snow during this time of year. Look at the temperatures in Ohio, 53 degrees. West Virginia, 57. Excuse me. So, I mean, these are springtime temperatures in our neck of the woods. Let's look down here into Kentucky. 61 degrees. I mean, we could just move right back over here to the state of Indiana. 54 degrees. Now let's move over to the East Coast. Let's go over here to New Jersey, where they had a lot of snowfall. 44 degrees. Let's zoom in a little bit. 43 degrees. New York City. 42 degrees. Now, Massachusetts. They got hammered up there in Boston. Let's take a look at some of these temperatures. 49 degrees. So, again, ladies and gentlemen, my point. What do you think is going to happen to all of that snow? They're not going to be able to remove it all. It's just absolutely impossible. So, with the weather patterns that are setting up, the climate chaos, we are looking at the potential of massive amounts of flooding. And this is all going to come possibly between, I'm going to move back to Monday at around 11 p.m. You can see temperatures already above freezing. So we'll go halfway through the day again on Tuesday. This is about noon Tuesday. Okay, temperature dipped a little bit, might have some snow flurries. And then as we progress into the day, more snow moves in. But then whenever you move into Wednesday, around noon, you're going to start to see this drastic increase in temperature. So this is definitely going to be, something to see. I'm going to go ahead and let this model run out a little bit here so you can see what's going to happen. I'm going to go ahead and move this back up to the Pittsburgh area. And we're on Thursday going into Friday, the 12th. And then you see this Arctic vortex of air move down again. It sinks very rapidly and very fast. So you're going from temperatures in the high to mid 40s. And then all of a sudden, within a 24-hour period, boom, the bottom falls out and the potential for more snow. So I'm going to go ahead and just click over here, and I'm going to back this up a little bit. And you're going to see this line of snow right here. And that's what's going to be moving in after the warming effect. So again, all this is going to do is bring in more moisture, more water, more snow, dump it on all of these states. And all of these states have many, many rivers, ladies and gentlemen. This is the problem. This is the potential for the setup for the flash flooding and more disasters. So I'm going to go ahead and let this pan out for you. You'll see some light snow in my area, and then it clears up. Now, as this all clears up, you'll see a system push back up here, more moisture, and right now they have this listed as snow. Let's go back to the temperature. The temperature dropped out 27 degrees. So let's move back to Friday, about 1 p.m., 39 degrees. So let's watch this play out. So the model stops at about next Monday, January 15th. You can see the straight line of the difference in temperature. This is where I'm at in the Pittsburgh area. We're at about 25 degrees on Monday going into Tuesday. But again, going back to Wednesday and Thursday, you're seeing the potential for these flash flooding disasters. So if you live in these areas that are close to rivers, streams, creeks, any type of flooding situation, you're going to have to be on the ball, because this type of flooding can happen very, very rapidly, and it can literally wipe out areas in an instance. With temperatures rising from 0 degrees to 52 degrees, with the snow on the ground in a lot of these areas closer to the east coast of the United States, we're going to see the rivers and the streams and the reservoirs, we're going to see them rise very, very rapidly. Now, there is also the potential, you know, we have the mountains that run straight through here, the Appalachian Mountains. And, you know, if these temperatures rise into the low or mid 40s, even in the higher elevations in the Appalachian Mountains, well, where does all of that snow melt go? It goes straight down the mountainsides and right into the streams, and then right into the rivers, and then bingo, you have the potential for very, very severe flash flooding. So things are kind of being set up right now for a disastrous situation. Yes, it's going to be great to have the warm temperatures. It's not going to last. We're going to continue to see this type of climate chaos. And that's a good word for it, because that's basically what it is. It's complete chaos with our weather. So, you know, I just wanted to give everybody a heads up, and I want you to understand this is not going to end. Now, this model only goes out to Monday, the 15th of January. But as I was looking at another model, this is going to give us a little bit of a better perspective a few days later, meaning from the 15th to about possibly the 20th or the 21st. So as we have this model set up right here, this is actually going to start at about January 5th, yesterday. And again, you can see the very, very large dip from all of the Arctic air that has moved down all the way to the Georgia-Florida border. So I'm going to go ahead and let this play out, and you'll be able to see as this system moves its way out. I'm going to go ahead and stop it at a certain point here. Now, you see that high pressure. That high pressure that moved up, well, that's going to drag all that warm air up all the way up into the northeast part of the United States. That's what I was just showing you on the other model. This is not going to give you temperatures here, but as you can see from the scale, these temperatures are going to rise very, very rapidly. We are at Wednesday, the 10th of January, as you can see right up here. So you can see much, much warmer air moving from Mexico into Texas, into Oklahoma. This is going to be a big warm-up. It's going to be a big warm-up for everyone, but it's going to be very short-lived. And this warm-up, again, we're going from 0 degrees to 50 degrees in a matter of 24 to 36 to 48 hours. So the potential, again, for this flash flooding in all of these states, on a scale from 1 to 10, I would have to put it at a 10. It's going to be very, very high as far as flood levels go. So let's go ahead and let this play out, and you can see the next polar dip, once again, makes its way all the way through Texas down into the borders of northern Mexico. Once again, you're going to see very, very cold temperatures setting up, and this line will once again move directly across, well, probably 2/3 of the United States. So let's go ahead and let it run out. That was January 12th. This is the 13th into the 14th. Bingo. There you go again. So we're going to be moving to Thursday, January 18th. I'm just going to go ahead and back it up just a little bit. This is a little bit earlier in the day on Thursday, January 18th, going towards the last 2 weeks of the month. Look at the temperatures. And again, remember, we just had a little bit more snow move in the days before, you know, the 15th, the 16th, and then bingo, here we go again. So we're going to be living with this potential of flash flooding. We're going to be living with this probably for the rest of January. We're going to have some cold spells. We're going to have some very, very rapid increases in temperatures. And again, I'm sorry if I have to beat a dead horse in the mouth, but this flooding can be absolutely disastrous. We all saw what happened down in West Virginia a few years ago. We know that the potential for flooding along the Mississippi area, the Mississippi River area, it's all setting up right now to become a disaster. And there's really no way to know what each and every one of these locks and dams are actually doing. Yes, we could check all the river levels, and that's all on the NOAA website for river levels. I'm going to be monitoring all of that, you know, at least in this section of the United States, leading all the way down the Mississippi River into the Gulf of Mexico. Because the potential for flooding through this whole entire region, like I said, on a scale from 1 to 10, it's up there. It's up there to a 10. No doubt about it. Let's let this model run out a little bit more. So you can see going from the 18th, 19th, 20th, and 21st of January, once again, we're looking at very, very warm temperatures in this third of the United States. The whole entire green area right here will be very, very moderate, way above normal as far as temperatures go. But once again, you can see how this polar vortex is going to dip down very, very low into the central part of the United States. Northern Texas, once again, you'll be in a deep freeze, as well as all of the states straight up to the Canadian border. This will be around January 21st is what we're looking at. So let's go ahead, and there's only about 2 or 3 more clicks, and the model runs out. So we're looking at, let me just stop this and run it back. So we're looking at January 22nd, but let's just go ahead and bump this back a little bit. So on January 22nd or 21st, we're looking at some warmer temperatures. One more click. Let's go one more. And this is how extreme things will be. You're going to go from these moderate temperatures. You see the line. 3 hours later, bingo. That whole entire vortex of Arctic air once again encompasses all of these states, all the way down through the Ohio Valley, directly into my area. And then, well, this model runs out on the 22nd, but this will probably dip further down. And when it does, states like Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, South Carolina, North Carolina, West Virginia, Maryland, once again, New Jersey, New York, Massachusetts, all of these areas, once again, they're going to be under the gun for very, very cold, very, very frigid temperatures. And we're gonna keep on having this. This is what happens when we have this climate chaos. People say, oh, this is global warming, this is climate change, blah, blah, blah. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is extreme climate change. We know the reason why this is happening. You're going to have so many people that are in complete denial why this is happening. You can be in denial. But I'm telling you this much. Don't get yourself caught in a situation where you're going to be in grave danger simply because you just didn't pay attention to what was happening. I'm going to bring up some of these pictures right here. And, I had a few conversations over the last day with a few people, online that were asking questions pertaining to Planet X and things of that nature. And, here's the bottom line, folks. Throughout all of 2017, we made some very, very big strides in detecting this object. We know it's there. And, this object probably has some other smaller stellar cores with it, possibly even some moons that are orbiting, at a further distance away from the sun. I've heard some theories on this, but there's no evidence to back that up. And the evidence that we have are clear visuals. So we haven't had any visuals on theories about other moons and other planets. But what I do know is that the whole entire year that just went by of 2017, we made some absolutely incredible captures, photographic evidence that this object's there. It's interacting with the sun. We know that. And there are so many people out there that are in denial that this object exists. The possibilities are there. And it's creating situations for our planet and our sun that are catastrophic to the Earth. So if you're out there walking around each and every day with blinders on, then yes, you're not going to see or understand any of this. You have to do a little homework. You have to pay attention to some of the people that are bringing you this information and trying to explain it to you. I've been doing this for a very long time. I study all of this information every minute of the day. I don't get very much sleep because myself and Dr. Albers, we have dedicated all of our time to figuring this out. Each and every day, it almost seems like we have to go back and start from the very beginning to try to understand the dynamics of what is happening. And for those people that are in complete denial that another object from way deep in outer space, somewhere within our galaxy, has actually moved into our solar system, if you are running through your life and you don't think that that is possible, well, you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. Everything is always in constant motion. Our little tiny solar system is just a little minute speck in a very large galaxy that we call the Milky Way. So to think that our little tiny solar system cannot be infiltrated or visited by other ancient objects that have been out there for billions of years, you're sadly mistaken. I believe that Dr. Albers and I have proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that our sun has been infiltrated by one of these objects. And it is massive. It's huge. Probably, as Dr. Albers has calculated, approximately 3 to 5 times larger than Jupiter. And Jupiter is a massive planet. And, you know, I make these little 4 square photographs giving you comparisons in the different shades and different colors. And if you just think that these massive spherical objects are just appearing in these photos that are coming from different spacecrafts owned and operated by NASA, if you think that these objects are just appearing out of nowhere, that they are JPEG artifacts or camera anomalies, wow, then these spacecraft that are supposed to be highly sophisticated, state-of-the-art, worth hundreds of millions of dollars, do you actually think that the people that built them put, you know, Mickey Mouse cameras and used, you know, sub-level technology in the camera systems? No way. They're not going to spend hundreds of millions of dollars. They're going to use the best technology available at that time. And believe me, folks, they are much more advanced than we know about. Do they want you to know that there's something out there lurking near the sun and interacting with the sun? Absolutely not. Because then that raises more questions as to how long did you know about this and why did you not inform the world population? And then that's going to lead to just more lies from the space agencies and our governments. So it's people like me and Dr. Albers and many, many others out there that are searching for the truth. We investigate, we research, because we want to know. We see all the signs. We see what is happening. And so do you. So for some of you out there that are still kind of, you know, mulling around whether or not you're believing in this, listen. I don't spend this portion of my life sitting here on YouTube and Twitter and Facebook just to fool people, because it's of no benefit to me. None. Zero. I don't get my jollies off delivering this type of information to people, because this affects my life also. And we're all in this together. Doesn't matter what your religious beliefs are. It doesn't matter what country you're from or what color your skin is. This affects everyone on this planet. And they don't want you to know, folks. They don't want you to know what is happening. That much is for sure. You know, we have so many things going on. So many things going on. With our weather, with what's happening out there in our solar system, what's happening with our governments, and yes, what's happening with our own personal lives. So, back in September, we detected this monster. And this is our Planet X object, whatever you want to call it. We caught this on the SDO, and we talk about how this object is interacting with the sun. Well, at this point in time, we were actually able to detect this object clearly within the corona of the sun and a direct plasma connection from the sun to this object. It's right there. It's right in front of your eyes. So again, you know, I'm no type of graphic artist. I don't make these photographs up. But I do search. I do investigate. I do research. I do pay attention to just about everything that is going on, because you have to. Because the art of deception lies within the space agencies. They can't clean everything up. I'm sure their hands are full with a lot of other things. And they kind of hope that you lose interest, or you just don't believe in what you're seeing, or you just don't understand it. So then you let it fall to the wayside and you dismiss it. But ladies and gentlemen, we cannot dismiss the fact that we have laid out substantial photographic evidence and proof beyond a shadow of a doubt that this object exists. It probably does have other objects with it. We just haven't seen them yet. Are they orbiting outside of the spectrum of these cameras on these spacecraft? That's a high possibility. Are we going to see them from Earth with cameras? Who knows? Are we seeing a major deception within our skies? Yes, we most definitely are. We continually complain about the chemtrailing, and it is absolutely disastrous to see our skies sprayed with these chemicals every minute of the day. We have people wondering, is that really our moon that we're looking at? Or is it something projected into the sky, such as a sophisticated hologram, which we know the space agencies and the governments have this ability. They have that technology, and it's pretty damn good. Do they have cloaking technology? Yes, they do. The military has had it for years, and they're getting better at it. Do we know about what is going on in our upper atmosphere and in space around the Earth? Do we know what is going on up there? No, we do not. Do you believe in a sun simulator? If you're living in denial and you don't think that that is possible, well, listen, you better think again, because the technology has been worked on and patented for years. Is there a possibility that there is more than one sun simulator up there in the upper atmosphere or in space above the Earth? Is there more than one? Most likely. Why do I say that? Well, they probably got the first one up there, and as technology gets better and they build more and the technology is better, then the next thing you know, they're building something else up there in space that is meant to deceive us. I don't think that it's actually there to help us. Because if it was, they would probably let us know. They're always letting us know about, the space agency's achievements. But when you're a government space agency, the government runs you. And they tell you what you can tell us. And right now, and for probably the last 35 to 40 years, we've been in the dark. So if you don't think that the world space agencies have the ability to build a sun simulator and then possibly build upon it while in space, again, you're sadly mistaken. How did they build the space station? Are there really astronauts in the space station? What is going on up there? How can those astronauts survive 6 months in the space station with very little shielding from radiation? So, folks, again, a lot of major questions that we will never, ever get legitimate, true answers to. We have to theorize. We have to poke around. We have to look for slip-ups by these space agencies. Why all of a sudden are they launching rocket after rocket after rocket after rocket into space? What do you think? It's Elon Musk trying to get to Mars? Listen, we could launch a rocket today and it could make its way to Mars. It's not about that. But they're up to something. All of these rocket launchers, oh, okay, they say it's just another satellite. What do you need another satellite for in space? There's like probably 10,000 of them up there whipping around the Earth as we speak. Why do you need another one? But see, they don't tell us what's in the nose capsule of these rockets. They may tell you it's a satellite or 2 satellites or whatever, but we don't know. We have to go by what they're telling us. So when the Japanese are launching rockets, the Russians are launching rockets, the Chinese are launching rockets, the United States is launching rockets, 4 or 5 rocket launches within a 5-day period. What is going on in the heavens? Ladies and gentlemen, something is going on for these space agencies and these countries to spend hundreds of millions of dollars to launch these rockets. And there are more rocket launches scheduled. It's going to become the norm, seeing these rocket launches. They can't hide them. I mean, we all saw the rocket launch over the West Coast over there that everybody freaked out about, thought it was a UFO or, Planet X whipping by or whatever they thought it was. But still very mysterious. So folks, don't kick back and live in denial and think that none of these things can be possible, because they can all be possible. And they are actually happening and unfolding right in front of your eyes. And you will be able to see more clearly if you just open your eyes up just a little bit more and pay a little bit more attention to what is happening out there. Gain that understanding, gain that knowledge. Like my saying goes, knowledge is power, man. That is it. That is the key. That knowledge brings you the power to understand. So I wanted to go over all this information with you guys real quick. Wanted to bring you up to date in what I'm finding. And when I do this, I do it from my heart, because, each and every day that I review information from around the world, I see the death and the destruction of our planet. I see the deaths of people, human beings, that are caught off guard, that don't know what is happening. And then the next thing you know, they're wiped out. They're snuffed out. Me, I don't think that's right. With the technology that we have today, everybody should be informed of the potential dangers of some of these things that are going to happen. Forecasting. They forecast the damn weather. There are some people out there that, like Dutch Sense, does a great job of forecasting the earthquakes. We really don't know, have the technology to really forecast the eruptions of volcanoes, but we can detect the seismic activity around some of these volcanoes and warn people. Are we warning people about what is happening with the sun? Are the space agencies out there stepping up to the plate and saying, listen, ladies and gentlemen, we have found a stellar core, planetary object out near the sun, and it's interacting with the sun, and the potential danger levels are, this or that. And this is what can happen. No, absolutely not. They denounce it because they are in such fear of losing control over the world population. See, I feel that they don't even look at us as human beings, the same as they are. Sometimes I feel that these space agencies and these governments are playing God. They are literally choosing who lives and who dies. And ladies and gentlemen, to me, that's not right. A government or a space agency is not the God Almighty. And who are they to pass that judgment? We pay them. They're using our hard-earned tax dollars that we work for. They're using our money to pay themselves to deceive us. And that's not right. And that is wrong. And even for the people in denial, that is wrong. But then again, maybe you're just one of those government suck-ups. And when push comes to shove, and you think you're going to get that golden ticket to survival, you're sadly mistaken, because your head will be the first one in the guillotine. Dead men tell no tales. This is Scott from Planet X News. Thank you for watching.